Coach Rocky Long, football coach, San Diego State Aztecs. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
Coach, I tell you what, we are awfully fired up today. Josh Rosen, Heisman Trophy candidate up at UCLA, had some comments that football and academics just aren't compatible. How do you see this? Are football and academics compatible, and how do you look at the opportunity to come to a university, play football, and get a degree?
Well, I don't have any idea how everybody else was raised, but I probably have 75% of the guys on my team, and I was one of those guys that if it wasn't for doing well in high school and being able to play a little bit, I'd have never had the chance to get a college education and never had the chance to play the great game of football. So I'm appreciative to that, and I know every player, or at least probably 95% of the players on our team are appreciative of it, and it's an opportunity that you're given. You get to play the game you love, and you get a college education. What else is better than that?
Not much, Rocky. How much time do you spend talking to your athletes about making sure they're students as well and taking schoolwork seriously?
Well, we obviously do it right before. Right now we're not doing it because we're not in school and we're worried about football. But as soon as the week before school starts, we meet with all of them individually and talk to them about it. And to be honest with you, we have a great academic services department here in the athletic department, and as long as they have the right attitude, they can get any kind of help they need, and they can get a degree. And the truth of the matter is, after they're freshmen and get over the hump, we don't have much problem with them. They take care of most of it themselves, and if we have a problem child, he gets a little special extra treatment.
I bet they do.
I like that. Hey, Coach, how's opening week of training camp been? And I have to ask, how many fights have there been? Are you a coach that encourages, maybe not outwardly, but inwardly, you grin a little every time the guys are getting in a scuffle?
Well, right now we haven't had any because we're in the, and I don't agree with these rules either, but they don't ask me. We're doing nothing but practicing in just helmets, but today we get to put on the pads. So it might, the intensity level and that might increase a little bit this evening when we practice.
Rocky, do you feel the intensity go up even in yourself that first day of pads?
I feel it in my belly, and I know they feel it because last night you could tell they knew pads were coming on today. Just in our team meeting before they headed to dinner, you could tell they're ready for pads. They're tired of practicing without pads on.
It starts to stink a little bit in the room as the must starts flying a little bit. I know I'm fired up today about this Josh Rosen thing, and my armpits aren't smelling so good. Can you feel that energy from the guys as they're starting to get antsy? They know the pads are coming on, and I guess you anticipate the first practice with pads being a touch sloppy.
You can feel it in the room. I mean, we meet with them every night before they head away from our complex here. We talk about it, and I talk about tomorrow or today now. We're just doing thud work. And so I want them to be physical, and I want them to thud up, but I don't want people on the ground. And you can just feel the tension in the room. Like the offensive guys are going, those defensive guys are going on the ground, and the defensive guys are going, well, those offensive guys are going on the ground. So we'll have to slow them down a little bit today, but they'll get used to it. And then when we put full pads on, they obviously know everything's live.
Aztecs head football coach Rocky Long with us on Xtra 1360 Fox Sports San Diego. September 2nd, they get started against UC Davis. GoAztecs.com for tickets, and we will have that game right here on Xtra 1360 Fox Sports San Diego. Rocky, you gave a great soundbite last week at the press conference, and we actually revisited it yesterday. You were asked about the question, which you've answered plenty of times, about how important it is for your program to beat Pac-12 programs. You have Arizona State and Stanford in week 2 and week 3. If you could, share a bit of your message, whether it's what you want the media to know or even what you share with your players about how you don't see that it's necessary for you to beat a Stanford, for you to believe that you have a quality program.
Well, I think we have a quality program already. I think it's been proven over the last 5 years. I mean, we've been to 7 straight bowl games. We've won the conference championship 3 out of the last 5 years, so obviously we have a quality program. Now, what we've done on our schedule is we've put opportunity games on there. I mean, everybody likes to see us play supposedly the big names or the big boys out there, and whenever you get them on your schedule, that is an opportunity for you to beat them. You can't beat them unless you play them. So we have opportunity games. When we play those kind of people in opportunity games, all we can do is help our program. We're not going to hurt it because no one expects us to beat them, and everybody that bets on the game, that we're obviously going to be the underdogs, but we have a chance to beat them because we're playing them, and I think we're a quality team that has a chance to beat them. And then if you're one of those guys that beats name school like a Stanford, and they end up being in the top 10 by the end of the year, you get instant national notoriety. What you get is instant credibility, and for some teams, that'll last 10 years. There's a team in our league that beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. That was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And then people are still acting like they're the class of our league. Well, we dispute that. We're the class in our league.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Are you equating these opportunity games to bowl games late in the season, but they just happen to be weeks 2 and 3?
I honestly wish they were like week 5 and 6, because we got a young football team, and we're playing good enough to compete with those guys, but those youngsters will make a few mistakes early in the season that they won't make mid-season. So if I had my druthers, we'd play those guys right in the middle of the year, but I don't have my druthers. That's the way it is, and we'll show up and we'll compete, and if the ball bounces right, we've got a chance to beat them.
Coach, I read recently in the Union Trib that the roster is basically set. Do you see it that way, or is there going to be spots for some competition?
Well, there's always spots for competition, and sometimes you're shocked. I mean, you think you have a starter out there, and somebody walks in that plays really, really good, and then the competition level rises. But the biggest competition level we have on our team is in the offensive line. We have some really good young offensive linemen on our program that need to mature, obviously, but they're going to be competing with each other daily, so that'll make them all better. But there's about 6 of them, and they're competing for probably 2 starting spots in the offensive line, and they're freshmen, redshirt freshmen that haven't played before, but they look the part, and they're athletic, and as long as we make them tough, they'll be just fine.
Rocky, do you believe you have the best running back in the country?
I do. I do. I thought we did last year. And I think we do this year. I think he's, people don't realize how big he is. He's probably 5'11", but he's 220 pounds. We have to watch him putting on too much weight sometimes. He's probably the fastest guy on our team. He breaks arm tackle. He's a great guy, too. He's a great team guy. He's a competitor. He catches the ball well out of the backfield. I was told by scouts, the NFL scouts, that if he'd have come out as a junior, he would have been the first guy picked off our team.
Wow, that's a statement now. Rocky Long, thanks for the time. Get back to work. Look forward to watching the boys.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Coach. Aztec football coach Rocky Long.